today. We're happy to go through these in more detail in Q&A if you wish. However, I would like to highlight one in particular. That's the risk that you're unable to immediately entice a high-quality research squad. The way we'd recommend that you mitigate this risk is to put more resources into building a strong culture and paying higher salaries. Basically, putting more energy into it. Because the key to the success of this research squad is attracting the right people for it. It's only as an absolute last resort that we would recommend that you outsource this research squad. And as you see, that is our contingency for the risk. I've gone through the risks briefly. I'll now pass you on to Alison, who will conclude our presentation.
Thank you, Luke. So you brought us here today to answer the question of how to expand your classified media division, taking into account Schibsted's current strategic vision. We answered this question in light of a bigger question of how to ensure Schibsted is the most attractive media company in Europe. Through our analysis, we came up with 3 key issues: critical mass, imitability, and target. And from these issues, we derived our strategy, race to the top. But let's take a look into the future. In 5 years' time, a student is about to start university. They need accommodation, textbooks, a part-time job, and a cheap car. But rather than visiting multiple websites that are not targeted to students, they choose you. They want to tell their friends because within minutes they've found what they were looking for. We would now like to open the floor to any questions you might have.
Let's start on the Q&A session right away.
Thank you for your presentation. I love to be in a race, but I'd also like to know who I'm competing against. So when I enter Russia, who am I, against whom will I be competing, and what will their strengths be compared to mine?
We did take a look at your competition in Russia, and what we see is that the types of sites that you would be instituting in terms of the Block-it, Fin model, they are not currently present in Russia, and that's why we've recommended that you enter that market, because you will be able to be a first mover in terms of the scale and scope of your sites and a leader in that market.
I also have a question pertaining to your new market rollouts. You were a bit quick to conclude on Russia and Hungary. Tell me a bit more about what you were, how you reached that conclusion. Why not, for example, Turkey and Greece? Why not Southeast Asia? What were, you know, the in the middle of the equation that you didn't tell us?
For the expansion into Russia, one of the main reasons is because Russia is a very attractive market with a very fast growing rate of internet penetration. And also it has a very large population of 140 million people. So by going into this market, you will be able to become a leader in this market where there are no substantial competitors at this stage. And because you're in the business of online classified ads, it's important to go into places first and become the leader, as Luke has outlined, following our key issues. And for Hungary, it basically fitted the criteria that we had set out for you. It has a high internet penetration rate, it has a moderate population size, and we would look into considering other markets as well, except we don't want to expand too aggressively. We want to take it one step at a time.
I would like you to elaborate a little bit on your new product areas, both the student and the women's side. First of all, how do you avoid that they will just be cannibalizing on your existing business? Also, do you see them as add-on features for the local sites, or do you envision a European student site? Or how does that fit into the overall brand structure? That was not quite clear to me. And particularly with the women, are they not served well in the existing sites, or is it a specific target or segment of the female population that you're hoping to target? And again, will that be local or pan-European or global?
Can you bring up the slide on cannibalization? I'll firstly address the idea of the women's tab on your current Blocket sites. This tab basically makes searching easier for women and more attractive in the sense that they can simply click on the tab and the product categories are products that they're interested in, and they don't need to scroll through other product categories, see other advertisements on the sites that may not specifically be attracting them. So it's good for both the users in terms of having an easy search experience, and it's also good for the people that advertise on your sites because they will be able to advertise potentially on a women's tab, so they will know that their entire audience on that tab is women, which is advantageous to them. Looking at cannibalisation, we see that this is actually part of your current business model, that you have introduced some sites, such as the Finn site, that do cannibalise some of your other sites. But this is okay. This is an acceptable level of cannibalisation because of the fact that you will be able to attract even more users to these sites. So you won't be losing users. You'll actually even be attracting more. And we think that this kind of level of cannibalisation is acceptable.
Two questions to currencies. You state in your presentation that the cost of employees are 100,000, but I didn't hear the currency or didn't see it. Secondly, what happened to your investment in Russia if the Russian currency continues the path it has right now?
Right. So the currency we used in the entire presentation is the Norwegian krona. And as for the Russian currency devaluing, we will go into hedging. So we will plan to hedge between 70 to 90% of the funds. And as well as that, when you're operating in Russia, your revenue and expenses will both be in Russia. So there will be a natural hedge to that. So this should not have a great impact on going into Russia.
Okay, you're launching both Blocket, Finn, and InfoJobs in Russia and Hungary. How do you separate who does what? Are they going to compete, or will they take separate parts of the markets?
You mean we're doing both Blocket and the Finn model in Russia and Hungary? Yes. Well, the Blocket model is easier and it takes a shorter time span to actually take hold in the market. And so we propose that we go in with both because the Finn model is potentially more risky but more rewarding as well. So they might be targeting, maybe some people will be both on Finn and on the Blocket model, but they are still separate and they'll be offering different things. For example, the Finn model will offer real estates and the Blocket model won't.
A question on the valuations here. You came up with an average valuation of 9.7 billion NOK, which unfortunately it's nice as a theoretical calculation, but the market value of the company is about 7 billion NOK today, unfortunately. The enterprise value. So let's take hold of that 7 billion NOK, and then really my question, which surprised me, is the following. You said that the value of the two new places is 5.5 billion NOK, and the value of the people strategy is 0.5 billion NOK, a factor of 10 to 1. And I'm a bit surprised that you are giving equal emphasis to something which is 10 times as large as 1/10. I would like to hear a little bit more about the valuation methodology, and in particular I'm surprised that the people part of it is worth so little, because we think it's worth more.
Right. Firstly, I'll address why the